And welcome to ASEAN Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Oriano Lizza. He's a sales trader at CMC Markets. Now, Oriano, great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. I must apologize in advance for my more than casual attire today. I came to the office this morning and thought I've definitely got shirts in the office, and to much surprise, I didn't. So please accept my casual attire on this occasion.
Yeah, no worries. I think everyone is still sort of in semi holiday mood. I think it's next week where everyone gets back to looking like this.
Absolutely. I have a shirt and tie for you next week, Brian. No problem.
Now, before we get your insights, let's take a quick look at how markets are doing across the region. Now, if you look at markets, it's essentially a sea of red still. The Nikkei is at 27,156.37. It's down 0.37%. The Shanghai Composite is at 3,501.2. It's down 0.005%. The Hang Seng is at 27,388.96. It's down 0.31%. The ASX 200 is down 0.15% at 6,674.10. The Kospi is down 0.23% at 2,937.61. And closer to home, we've got the likes of Bursa Malaysia trading at 1,593.32. It's down 0.52%. And the SGX is down 0.3% at 2,850.31. Now, Oriano, what's your view on the sea of red across the region?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting take. I think normally with most Asian markets that they are laggard to the performance overnight from Wall Street. So we're probably seeing a little bit of a sell-off or that negative sentiment sort of stem through even at this time of the day. It'd be interesting to see how markets pick up when there's fund flows coming through from Europe in the afternoon here in Asia, and obviously into tonight's session. I guess the majority of it is there has been some negative news around COVID, and that sell-off last night was the first time in 2 years from the US that they'd started the year, the first trading day of the year in negative territory. So I don't think it's something to sort of hang your tie on per se, but definitely markets I can still see continuing to go edge higher slowly within the first part of this year.
And where do you think the markets are looking for in terms of direction? What are the news flow? Is it the election runoff in Georgia, for example? Is that going to be a key news flow that will trigger markets either positive or negative?
I think the markets are fairly numb in that respect now, unless there's some huge uproar. I think they've sort of priced the election, or at least the results in. Intraday, the ongoing battle with obviously the maintenance of the COVID virus, we'll see some intraday movement, some pullbacks to the downside. And then looking forward, I think on a very more specific level, the performance of the US dollar and the impact that's having both positive and negatively to asset classes like commodities and US equities.
Now, it's the new year. What are you as CMC advising your clients to do after such a volatile but profitable year for equities in 2020?
Yeah, it's a great question, Brian, because obviously for a lot of people who are new to the markets, we had a lot of new entrants. They did sort of, reap the benefits of that continual uptrend or that bull run within US equities. So I guess from my individual perspective, I guess it's really sort of, maintaining those positions for clients and managing risk appropriately. For a lot of people who have just come onto a hot winning streak, one of the major concerns is that what do you do should the market have some sort of sustained downtrend, or what should you do should the market sell off? So I think people need to be realistic with the markets, but the way the current structure is in place with what looks like unlimited liquidity and low interest rate environments, a lot of these big major corporates, especially within the US, should be able to sustain their growth, whether it be by way of buybacks or just continued sort of investment into the infrastructure of their companies.
Now, moving on to commodities, gold is at a new near 2-month high. But overall, what's your view of commodities in 2021, especially after the bull run in commodities in 2020 with the likes of iron ore, copper, and palm oil hitting record highs in 2020?
Yeah, I think I'll touch back onto the topic regarding that US dollar. I think one of the chief benefactors, apart from emerging market economies, will be the commodity sector. Obviously, they did have a sort of perilous period, especially in the oil markets during mid part of the year, where we saw negative oil pricing. But they have rebounded strongly or come off a very low base. So, but with the impact of the low US, the sort of weaker US dollar, I think we're going to see them continue to rally. Something I'm looking at specifically are gold and silver tend to lead the charge from a commodity perspective. Oil obviously has the sideshow that is OPEC, which can step in at any time and I guess sort of impact a sustained bull run. But I think we will see oil prices continue to go higher. But more importantly, how sustainable is it? I do like to look at what you previously mentioned, things like copper, iron ore, platinum, and palladium, which are consolidating somewhat since the 2020 bull run. So is it just a case of us, the leading commodities and the most, I guess, heavily invested commodities making a bit of a breakaway, or is it going to be a sustained move across the sector per se? So that's what I really keep an eye on. But with a suppressed US dollar, that they will benefit substantially.
Hey, Oriano, thank you very much for your insights. We've been speaking to Oriano Lizza, sales trader at CMC Markets on BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.